Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first Lunch and Learn of the new year. I hope everyone is doing well and having a good year so far. This month, we are joined by Petersburg CSA, and they are going to let us know about CSAs themselves, what they do, kind of what it's like across the state of Virginia, and also FAPT. We've been getting lots of questions lately about what is FAPT and how do I get into this FAPT and how can they help? And they are going to let us know all things FAPT. So I'm going to let these lovely ladies introduce themselves, and I'm going to get PowerPoint pulled up and all that good stuff as they are talking about them.
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy lunchtime, everybody. My name is Jackie Zimmett. I am the CSA program manager for the city of Petersburg, and I'm being joined by my amazing team here in Petersburg. My FAPT coordinator is here, Alexis Bell, and then my administrative assistant is there. She's Lori Brown, and the three of us manage Petersburg FAPT. And FAPT stands for Family Assessment and Planning Team, and we'll talk more about what that is once we get the PowerPoint ready to roll. But we're here to kind of enlighten you on what this is and how this can help you. All right, so we're ready to roll whenever you are, Nicole.
All right, so you should be able to see the PowerPoint.
Right.
So just let me know when you need slides moved.
All right. So this lunch and learn today, we're going to talk about what is FAPT. A lot of people have questions about it, but it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle that we try to put together that can help children and families succeed. And FAPT includes work from the schools, Community Services Board. There's a CSA program, DSS. So all the community agencies that are involved in the FAPT process, we're going to talk about today. So if you want to go to the next slide for me. All right, so a lot of times people hear a lot of letters when you're going to receive services in your community. You hear CSA, you hear CSB, you hear DSS, you hear all kinds of letters. The letters about FAPT start with CSA. CSA is the Children's Services Act. And this is the program that allows us to provide funds for services for families coming through the FAPT process. Okay, so now we're going to start talking about FAPT. But CSA is the program that provides the funding. And that's the main thing we want to know about. How can we get these services paid for? Okay, services are available, but we need to make sure how we can access them and get them paid for. Okay, next slide. All right, of course, there's a philosophy. You don't do this work without having some kind of philosophy. You have to have a philosophy on how to build the program that you want to offer, okay? And we believe that the best environment for raising children is in their families, okay? We always want to keep children in their families. And we want to do all that we can to make sure that we can support the child and the family so that the family can be strong and intact, okay? That's our philosophy. Children do better when they're with their families. All right, next slide. So we're talking today about what is FAPT. That question comes up all the time because you hear this funny word. And the FAPT means Family Assessment and Planning Team, FAPT. That's your FAPT. And the FAPT teams are designed to help children and families develop a plan to address whatever might be happening with the family. All right. It's all about developing a plan with the team and with the family so that we can keep this family intact. Okay. So that families can receive services that they need so that they can stay intact. All right. So we'll go to the next slide. Now, every time that you see a FAPT team or you come to a FAPT meeting or you get the opportunity to participate in FAPT, there are going to be some agencies there that have to be a part of this FAPT process. That's going to be your Community Services Board. That's going to be your Juvenile Court Services. That's going to be your Department of Social Services. It's going to be your local school division. There's also going to be a parent representative on the team and a representative from a private provider organization. Now, these members have to be a part of the team because the law says that these people have to be a part of the team. But also, these members of the team are also the agencies that are going to help you get into a FAPT meeting. Okay? So every community has a court services board. I mean, a community services board. And Nicole, we've given Nicole a flyer that lists all of the CSBs over the state. In Petersburg, our CSB is called D19, but D19 also serves 9 other areas. So in Hopewell, you may have a D19, but in another locality, it may be called Crossroads. So every locality doesn't call their community services board a community services board, but we provided Nicole with the list of all the community services boards in the state of Virginia. But that is one of the agencies that you can go to in order to get your case heard before the FAPT team. Also, every community has a juvenile court services unit, all right? And as in Petersburg, it's the 11th District Court Services Unit, but it also serves a lot of other localities. So if you don't know who your court services unit is in your team, go to your local juvenile court and they can tell you the name of your court services unit, okay? It doesn't mean you're in trouble if you go to court services and ask for help. It means that you need help. You're not in trouble asking for help. You can go to any one of these agencies and ask for help, and it doesn't mean you're in trouble. It doesn't mean your family's in trouble. It doesn't mean your kid is in trouble. You can go to social
Such a great
services.
point to make, Jackie,
Mhm.
especially when people talk about going to court, because you always
Mhm.
immediately think the worst.
Right, right.
It's
And
definitely going to court does not mean that someone's going to come in, try to
And
take
take
your
your
kids
children.
away or break up
Exactly.
your family.
Exactly. Every one of these agencies that we talk about that's involved with FAPT, our main goal is to keep the child in the family. We want to keep the
Exactly.
family intact. Now, if you go to court services, you're just asking for services. And the court services unit is designed to help you get those services so that the child doesn't come out of the home. The goal is always to keep the child in the home. The goal is to always help the family stay intact. So even if you go to social services, so social services doesn't all do child protective services where they're going to take your children away. Social services also offers prevention services. Prevention services are where you can get those services to keep your family intact. So don't be afraid to go to either one of these agencies for fear that you're going to have your child removed. That is not the goal. That's never the goal of any of these agencies. So families, understand, we want you to keep your children in your home. And the goal of the work that we do with you in the FAPT process is to help you do that. Okay? So don't be afraid to ask for the help. The help is here. Do not be afraid to ask for the help. Okay? Your local school division is also one of the agencies that can provide you an access to FAPT services. You can talk to a school counselor. You can talk to a school principal. They can access FAPT for you to get services for your child. All right? And your child does not have to have an IEP to get FAPT services, okay? Your child does not have to have an IEP in order to receive support and services from the FAPT program, all right? So next slide. Now that we've told you don't be afraid to ask for help, we've told you don't be afraid. We're not here to take your children. We're here to keep your children and your families. So now that you've decided you're going to get some help because some things might be going on, there are a couple of agencies that you can go to, as I've already said, who can help you get into the FAPT process. A lot of times you can't refer yourself to the FAPT program. One of these agencies has to refer you to the FAPT program, all right? Your community services board, your court services unit, your social services, or your public schools. And there are some times that a judge will order a case to FAPT. If a case comes across his desk or her desk, then they can order that case come to the FAPT. And then what we do is we develop a plan of services, and then we have to report back to the judge how that process went. So there are several ways you can get services to the FAPT program, and these are how you get those services, okay? And if you have any questions along the way, I'm happy to answer them, okay? All right, next slide.
And as these are all the Petersburg ones, as Jackie said, she's given me a list of across the state where you can find these connections. So if you're looking for it now, please feel free to email me and I will send the list to you. But we're also going to have it put onto the NAMI Virginia website. So it'll be there for everyone to be able to find where to start looking for services.
And I'll tell you, I have to congratulate and give my administrative assistant all the kudos for finding this information for me. When we had our last conversation, we talked about needing that information, and Lori did a great job of going in. She's trying to stay off the camera. But Lori did a great job of going in and actually finding that information for us, because I knew that in some localities it wasn't called a community services board. It was called something else like Crossroads. And so this way they can look and see what locality they live in, and then see where their CSB is. Because most of the times that's going to be the first place you can go in order to get access to FAPT, okay? Because they provide a lot of mental health services, and that way they can get you onto the FAPT for services. All right.
It's a great list. It's broken down by not only region, if you know what region you're in, but then by county or city. So it is very user friendly to find out where to find this help.
Right, because a lot of counties share a CSB. So a lot of times the community services board services more than one locality. So it's good to know that what localities are included in that CSB.
Exactly.
All right, next screen. Now, who's eligible? You know, you want to say, well, can I get this service? What do I have to do to get this service? And most children and families who are in some kind of distress or in some kind of trauma situation, you're eligible for these services, right? So if a child has an IEP for special education services that this public school can't provide, they can receive services. If a child enters foster care, then they're eligible for the services. But the main thing we're talking about today are services that you can receive without an IEP and without being in foster care. And those are any children who are in distress. If you see the pictures of the little boy, if he's, pulling his hair out, or the mom's pulling their hair out saying, we need help. This is how you come to this process, okay? If you see a child quietly sitting head down, not interacting with the group, that may be where the school says we might want to make a referral for services to make sure that she's okay. All right. If a child is displaying any kind of negative behaviors in the home, school, and community, those children are eligible to be considered for FAPT services. All right. And if you're seeing these things at home, or if school is reporting these things to you, then you can certainly have the school help you access that service, or go to one of your community services boards to help you access the services, okay? Okay, next. And also, parents, I have to remind you that it's the responsibility in some communities that you pay a co-pay assessment in order to receive these services. In most localities, it's based on a sliding fee scale, and it's only a portion of the services that you receive. Here in Petersburg, if you meet a certain poverty guideline and you receive Medicaid, you aren't going to be assessed for a copay. And some families, if you are assessed for a copay, it could be something as minimal as $25 a month if you have families who are working and don't meet the federal poverty guideline. But that locality where you do your FAPT is going to walk you through that process, okay? Because we want to do all we can to make sure that you can access these services, all right? And this is what I'll say. Some of the services, if you're interested in what some of those services might be, mentoring is our biggest service that we provide. It gives the child some one-on-one support. This person can take them out into the community to see what's happening, can work with them in the home. The mentor can also work with the family to kind of figure out how the family can better make this situation work for them. We can also get evaluations done. We can provide parent coaching. Sometimes the parent just needs to figure out what they need to do. If you have multiple kids, you're trying to figure out how am I going to navigate these services for all of these children when I have all of these children. Sometimes the parents just need support in trying to walk through what they have to walk through. So there's a variety of services that you can get from FAPT, and counseling services. We do a lot of counseling for children and families. So there are lots of services you can access through the FAPT program. And when you have this meeting, this is when the team helps you figure out what's the best service for you and your family. Always know that you, as the family, know your family best. So the only way that we can figure out what's the best plan for you is to have you be a part of this team to help us figure out what that best plan is. All right. So if you ever get an opportunity to participate in the FAPT, don't sit quietly because you know your family. So don't let the team develop something that you know won't work for you. It is the goal of you saying, we need some help. Let's figure out what kind of help we can get. All right. So you need to be an active part of this process. You and your children, when you come to this process, be an active participant in this partnership. Show up for all the meetings, participate in the meetings, voice what your family strengths are. Every family has strengths. So you need to make sure that you let the team know what your family strengths are. Okay. And last slide is saying, if you have any further questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Nicole has my contact information. If you have further questions, it's here on the screen. I don't know if I've answered all of your questions today. I may have just made you have more questions. Because sometimes when you hear stuff, it's like, well, wait a minute. She said, what? I can do what? I need more information about that. So today is just an introduction to how you can access FAPT, Family Assessment and Planning Team. Every community has one, and you can access it through all the different ways I told you how you could today. All right. And I want you and your families to be safe. I want your families to be well. I want your families to be happy. And we are here to kind of help you work through that. Okay. And if there's anything else you have, any questions you have, Nicole, then I'll be happy to answer them.
I don't have any questions that have come up. I personally don't have any questions.
Okay.
I've been able to sit as a team member on FAPT teams. They definitely, want to work with families. They want to make this a stronger partnership and keep these families together and watch them succeed and be able to do great things. So if you do have any other questions that come up, if you're watching this on a later day, because again, Facebook will keep this on there for a while.
Okay.
Please feel free to reach out to myself. If I don't have the answer, I know how to get a hold of Jackie, and lots of resources that I can help you find out where to get the help where you need.
Right.
I want to thank you all for all the work that you have done, explaining FAPT, explaining CSAs, that wonderful resource list of CSAs and other organizations across Virginia that are going to help our families. Again, if anyone has any questions, please either leave them in the comment section. I will definitely be watching that, or just email me directly and I can get you pointed in the right direction.
The one thing I want you, the listeners, to know is that this is a team process. This is a collaborative process. None of us do this by ourselves. We do this with a team where we can come up with better ideas if we work together as a team. I don't have all the answers. That's why I rely on this collaborative process. So if you come to a FAPT meeting and you want support, you're going to get suggestions from a bunch of people who can probably help you if you want the help. Okay.
I tell a lot of people that kind of come in contact with NAMI, like, I know a little bit, you know a little bit, together we know a lot. It's the same way with the organizations that we work with.
Right.
They know some stuff that we don't know. We know some stuff about our families that they don't know, but together we make some really good plans to really help our families out.
Yep. So we're here to help you. Just let us know. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get the help. Don't be afraid.
That's right. I think that's one of the best things that was said is don't be afraid, because if you know that your child has some behavioral issues and you're really afraid that that's going to affect school or them being able to stay in your house, it's not. That is no one's plan to take kids out of families.
Exactly. That's the last thing we want to do. The last thing we want to do.
Absolutely. Right. So again, thank you so much, Jackie, and to your team, and for putting together that great resource. It's going to be great help.
All right. Anytime, Nicole, anytime. All right. Thank you for having us.